Okay, so today I'm going to show you how to do the draw by line project or draw by line worksheet. For geometry, this is draw by line and curve, but for you guys, it was just draw by lines. You didn't need any curve, okay? Anyway, so now that you drew all your pictures, remember I gave you this sheet, right? You drew your pictures here, right? What you're gonna do, looking at this table, right? You all wrote down, right? The equations of the lines and domain and range. You guys remember this? Okay, so you all wrote that down, and I'm going to show you how to check and see if you got it right. Does that make sense? So we're going to do that by using the graphing calculator that I showed you. It's online. It's called Desmos. Okay, yeah. So you go to www.desmos.com/calculator, and this will pop up. Okay, so let me show you actually. When you go here, it's gonna say, do you want to launch the calculator? And you say yes, and you get the calculator like this. Okay, yeah. And I also have this link. So I'm not gonna do the whole project. I'm just gonna do this example. Your example doesn't have a circle, but for geometry they will have circles and stuff. Anyway, so I'm going to put this. Put this equation into the Desmos, right, and see if I could get this exact picture. Does that make sense? And so when you copy your equations to the calculator online, right, if you made a mistake, it will show, right? So you have to fix it. Does that make sense? So let's graph the first line, line 1. What's the equation of this line? Well, it's got the y-intercept at 1, slope of 1, 2. I even told you what it is, right? So let's put that in. It's really easy. All you have to do is just type that in. Y equals 2. Was it half? So when you put half, you should put parentheses, 1 over 2, and then x plus 1. Should put x here. X, actually half times x plus 1 like this. Okay, there you go. There's my line, right? Now, if I have this line, it doesn't look like this, right? Yeah, how do I make it so that it just goes from, look at my domain. It goes from negative, what is that, negative 4 to 2. I even wrote down the domain, right? So how do I graph this? Because if I don't put any domain, the line is going to go forever, right? So I'm not going to get this triangle. So the Desmos has a nice way to put the domain. All you have to do is put a brace and
look
at the domain. We wrote down domain is negative 4 from 2, right? So I'm going to put x is less negative 4, and then x, and then 2. There you go. You see how I was able to, right, restrict my domain this way? Does that make sense? Now, could I have done this with my range? Look at my range. It goes from negative 1 to 2, right? Could I have done that with my range? Yeah, I could have done. It goes from negative 2, right? Negative 1 to 2. Right? You see? Oh, and then I gotta change this to what? Instead of x, I gotta change this to y, because range means, okay. Right? So I get the same exact segment, line segment, right? So you could either use a domain or range to do this. Doesn't matter. Okay. For regular lines, you could have done that whichever way you like. I'm just gonna use the domain. I think it's the best. So look, I could undo. Isn't this nice? I could undo and so on. So it was negative 4 to 2. Now, don't I have to include the endpoints? So how do I do that? It just says x is between negative 4 and 2. It doesn't include the endpoint. So guess what? All I have to do is put equal sign there. You see? When you put equal sign, kind of, gives you that inequality less than or equal to. Does that make sense? So you just have to put less than equal. It'll just automatically put it that way. So for regular lines, right? You could either do domain or range. I suggest you use domain. Does that make sense? Look at my x, right? Look at all the points. It only goes from negative 4 to 2, right? All the x coordinates. Okay? So let's look at the next line. The next line, line 2, is this horizontal line, y equals negative 1. So let's put that in. Y equals negative 1. Again, it goes on forever. We don't want that. Now, could I do something with range on this one? For horizontal line, can I restrict the range? No, look at, the range is just y equals to 1, right? So I can't really do much there. So I have to actually, in this case, I have no choice but to restrict the domain only. So what should I do here? Put x is between which two numbers? Again, negative 4 to less than or equal to x less than or equal to 2, right? You see how it gets me, right, just within this range, domain, right? The x goes from negative 4 to 2 only. Do you understand? Okay, let's draw the vertical line there. So So what's the equation of the vertical line? It was x equals to 2, right? So again, if I just put x equals to 2, it'll give me that vertical line. But again, it goes on forever. Now this time I can't really restrict my domain, right? Because my domain is x equals 2, right? That's the only x value that I'm using, right? Every point on this line.
Yeah.
So how do I then put down the range? Yeah, Chuck?
You restrict
The range, exactly. So the y's, right? So here, what is going to be the range for my y? Yeah, negative 1, 2. So let me put that down. Negative 1, 2, equal to y this time. Less than, less than or equal to 2. Does that make sense? Look, I get that triangle there, okay? Any questions? So this is what's going to do, right? So it's really nice. You don't need any software, just go to the website. It'll, you'll be able to. Now here's the important part. You have to save this and so on. Actually, let me put that circle. So for geometry students, you gotta put that circle. It has a center at -1, -½ as you can see. I'm gonna just copy this rather than, and you have to figure out your radius. So I'm gonna copy this and paste this here. And for circles, you don't need domain and range, unless you want to show parts of it. So I could actually do that if you want. Like I could just show, like if I don't know, -2 to 1 or something. It'll just show that part. But if you want to show the whole circle, you don't need to put anything. That's fine. So anyway, that's what you do. For algebra students, you don't need to put any circles. Okay, you just need lines, unless you want to put some parabolas. That's up to you. Okay, then the important thing is you have to save this. Okay, so how do you save it? Well, you have to log in. So let me log out. Okay, so in order to save it, it's gonna say, let's see, here it says save. So in order to save, you got to sign in or create an account. I have a Gmail, so I could use my Gmail to sign in. Or if you have different mail, I think you could use that. You just have to register. Does that make sense? So you have to register, and when you save, when you log in, you can now save. You see the save button? Unless you log in, it won't let you save. So you have to log in using your Gmail, or you create an account, okay, using your email account. Is that okay? So when you save, I'm gonna title it. What should I title it? Triangle. Okay. And so so you see my folder here? I have a whole bunch of them, but you see my triangle just now? Okay, so it's right there. Do you see? So make sure you save. Otherwise, if you do all your work, right, and then, right, if you don't save, it's not there.